prefer the truth over a lie.
I want the truth. No matter how people may feel, I want the truth. I know what it is, I want the truth. And you can keep living along with your life. I want the truth. Who cares what the people say? I want the truth. Every night and every day, I want the truth. And you can keep living along with your life. Give me the truth. Don't wanna hear it if it ain't the truth. Stop living in fear and give me the truth. And you can keep living your life a whole life. I want the truth. I'm not afraid, I want the truth. Cause I'm finna play, I want the truth. And you can continue living your life a lie.
I guess they feel my presence when I left, ooh, ooh. I do this for my bitch, shit a check, ooh, ooh. I woke up this morning feeling blessed, ooh, ooh. Another day that we escaped death, ooh, ooh. I guess they feel my presence when I left, ooh, ooh. I do this for my bitch, shit a check, ooh, ooh. I woke up this morning feeling blessed, ooh, ooh. Another day that we escaped death. Yo, Eagles explosive, y'all about to get cooked, we in this bitch roasted. All you the same and you did with the most. They roll it with rollers, but we ain't just coasted. Woke up at sex for breakfast, more on time and less on lessons. Was once the type to question questions, same table, but the checks is separate. My fault, G, you said it was cool. I fucked up inside, Mexican food, face cool to be bright, like helping the school. You ducking the float till you fell in the pool. Just when is it being a feeling so cool? You don't even do what you tell us you do. I got this bag, no mailing it through. These demons tell me I'm a hell of a dude. Garish and key man, it's all about time and disorder some wings, but I'm already flying. This is just me when I'm not really trying. I take a top off and she don't even mind it. I make a hit and just sit and rewind it, like I give a shit about how you define it. We got some affairs many miles away, so all that chuck shit is just child's play. I guess they feel my presence when I left, ooh, ooh. I do this for my bitch, shit a check, ooh, ooh. I woke up this morning feeling blessed, ooh, ooh. Another day that we escaped death, ooh, ooh. I guess they feel my presence when I left, ooh, ooh. I do this for my bitch, shit a check, ooh, ooh. I woke up this morning feeling blessed, ooh, ooh. Another day that we escaped death, hey.
Pull up, talking shit, I know she bout to suck my dick, extend over with the clip. Hit a bitch, hit a lick, she blowing bubbles with her lips, she blowing O's with her spit. She love it when I hit it quick, and if I like her, I slow it down. She know what time it is every time I come around. Yeah, she get wet like a puddle in the ground. All she want is sex, but she'll lay a bitch down. Over Maury, baby, she call me Big Daddy now. I don't know what they hating on us for. These niggas ain't got shit on us, no. Hold a gun like I'm rich, back daddy, talking slick, stack at it on my dick, big face on my wrist. Oh, oh.
I guess they feel my presence when I left, ooh, ooh. I do this for my bitch, shit a check, ooh, ooh. I woke up this morning feeling blessed, ooh, ooh. Another day that we escaped death, ooh, ooh. I guess they feel my presence when I left, ooh, ooh. I do this for my bitch, shit a check, ooh, ooh. I woke up this morning feeling blessed, ooh, ooh. Another day that we escaped death, hey.
intelligent life in the universe outside of Earth? It's an ancient question from early human societies to the past eras when a newscaster would sit up right here, like I'm doing with you now, and raise the question.
Another day, another dollar in this motherfucker. Make you scream, wanna holler in this motherfucker. Nigga work with a dog collar. How the fuck I'm supposed to raise from the ghetto if the pay little? Every man that I know got a plan. Every man that I know work for the man. Speak for me and breathe air you breathe. So I know I got something to achieve. In the mind of a state, give a fuck on what it take. I'm a millionaire, billionaire. See you when I get there. For now, let's grind in the ghetto state of mind. Put the pedal to the floor, I got a steep hill to climb. That money on my mind. Gamble everything of mine. Rather be broke than to live with a yoke. Nowadays, people slave for a little bit of hope. Guess I better ball hard, spit a bar, sell dope. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. What it take for my hands to drop? Why to stop? What we here for? You know the answer. Cause I'm black with a hat and a nice car. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. What it take for my hands to drop? Why to stop? What we here for? You know the answer. Whoa, wait, you're making a mistake. Another day, another dollar in this motherfucker. Make you scream, wanna holler in this motherfucker. What it take for a real nigga get a break? Made a contribution, fuck retribution. Laid a foundation, still motherfucker hate. Rather see a nigga broke and see him elevate. Know if you made it through, now contemplate what I'm here for. Appearance of the Jim Crow, probably just mockery, jokes and hypocrisy. Take a stand and the folks on top of me. Call a guard, come fast with security. They pounce hard and wanna press charge. Made a little progress and I'm still under stress, saw a little bit of change. But the attitude the same, like I'm back in the hood with a Glock and I'm good. Sabotage myself, I don't need no help. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. What it take for my hands to drop? Why to stop? What we here for? You know the answer. Cause I'm black with a hat and a nice car. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. What it take for my hands to drop? Why to stop? What we here for? You know the answer. Whoa, wait, you're making a mistake. Another day, another dollar in this motherfucker. Make you scream, wanna holler in this motherfucker. Give me dap ride on the backside, in the limelight. This my time, right? Should I see through it? Put heat to it? Let the time pass, never speak to it? Who would I be? To stay silent is calamity, so I came to speak. Got a million man strong with a right to bear arms. All it take is a song, play the shit in a song. Super grip on my phone, got the video and drone. Catch a glimpse of the ruckus is the movement and push. Nigga tired of being pushed. Now police in the streets with the riot getting heat. Rubber bullets in the shield just to make us know the feel. One shot, one kill, nigga dead in the street cause the bullet was for real. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. What it take for my hands to drop? Why to stop? What we here for? You know the answer. Cause I'm black with a hat and a nice car. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. What it take for my hands to drop? Why to stop? What we here for? You know the answer. Whoa, wait, you're making a mistake.
Creeping through the night, I know what you like. I live my life, had to roll the dice. She won't spend the night, but I can't make her wise. Only met her once, let me fuck her twice. Creeping through the night, I know what you like. I live my life, had to roll the dice. She won't spend the night, but I can't make her wise. Only met her once, let me fuck her twice. Through the night, creeping through the night, through the night, creeping through the night, creeping through the night, creeping. Hey, mind cold as ice. Flow like Dolomite. There's no one-on-one. Bitch, I ball like mine. I just thought that bitch that you just made your wife. Never trust the internet, that shit do you try. And I'm focused on that shit that help me sleep at night. I be wishing you were here, but you were always right. Blew up overnight. I guess you want me right, but you don't know me right. But you don't show me right. Still creeping through the night. You cold as winter breeze, it ain't winter time. Girl, are you still on me? I just need some peace of mind. Creeping through the night, I know what you like. I live my life, had a roll of dice. You won't spend the night, but I can't make it wise. Only met her once, let me fuck her twice. Creeping through the night, I know what you like. I live my life, had a roll of dice. She won't spend the night, but I can't make her wise. Only met her once, let me fuck her twice. Through the night, creeping through the night, creeping through the night, creeping through the night, creeping.
You ever had somebody you really like? I mean, like, really, really like? But you're not sure if they feeling you? This is one of these scenarios. You know, like, boy meets girl. This whole coming of age thing. This is my story. I just want to share it with you. I woke up in the morning feeling better than I did last night. Now I got a text from this girl. I've been feeling right for a couple months. Hit me, are you up? Text back, girl, what's up? She said, let's link up. One time, probably two. Bring your friends too, cause my girls are sliding through. You can meet us at the park, so get ready. I wanna see you, and don't be late. It's a lovely day, and I wanna conversate. So I'm getting ready. I'm looking sharp. Got a text from my crush, meet us at the park. Yeah. So I call up my homies. What's up, dog? And we about to make our way to chill at the park. And we go, and we go, and we go, and we go to the park. And we go, and we go, and we go to see my crush. And we go, and we go, and we go with the homies. And we go, hey. So we get there, I see her from a glare. People playing ball, she waving at me, dog. I pulled up a seat while the homies greet. She hugged me, saying things like she missed me. Sparked the conversation, cracked a couple jokes, singing how far can this go? She feeling me, but I gotta know for sure.
Yeah, let's go.
While we talking, this dude sat beside her, dog. And then he said, babe, we heading to the mall.
What's going on? Let me get set up here. Y'all, I don't even know if I'm going to be drinking today. It's Father's Day and I should. Let me drop a bomb. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Nasty. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Let me get my screen straight. First, sound check. How do I sound? Can everyone hear me okay? Sound good? I'm going to go through road call as I normally do. Let's take the chat overlay off. Let's bring me up big screen. Okay. Thank you. MGR. Sounds good. Okay. I seen it out there. Okay. We good. I'm going to roll through Magnus, my dog.
Can you dig it?
You deserve that, sir. For those who do not know, Booker T, 5-time champ, but Magnus, thank you for that, man. Like and subscribe. I like that. Please, if you are tuning in, hit the like, subscribe. If you're, following on Facebook, follow the page. On Twitch, follow there. We're all over. All right, I got so many platforms. Whatever platform you're watching, please follow, subscribe, right?
Joe, my man, hardest working man in show business, guys. Dante's Italian Bistro, Phoenixville. Check it out. Okay, I ain't gonna say nothing more. Chelsea's Way, representing for the ladies. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate it. We got my man Kyle, young OG. Like seeing you there. Young guy with a lot of great insight. Good to see you, Kyle. MGR. You see how I pop it up? MGR, man. MGR. We go back like Ajax, Flapjacks, Knapsacks, and all that. But anyways, so I have a lot. I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I am gonna start bringing people in, but I'm gonna talk. I'm just gonna jump straight into it. Notice, I don't really have any topics. Didn't do any topics. I had so much to talk about on this one that I decided not to do any other topics. Okay, let's start there. So it's a lot to unpack. Okay, so before I unpack, which is going to be a lot, I want people to know, I wanted to start a little earlier. Okay, but Father's Day, I got a lot of, family waiting on me. Okay, a lot of things to do. So I apologize. Also did an interview today with the Lacia artistic team, which you'll see that on the channel. A lot of other things that I've been doing, just keeping myself busy. Have another interview on Tuesday. So just a lot of things, right? Okay. So where do I start? Now, some people may have seen this post. I'm going to see if I can pull it up now because I put it on Twitter. I put it on Facebook. Let's just go to Facebook. Shall we? We'll just do Facebook. I got Facebook pulled up here. Shout out to Facebook. Facebook team. Shout out to y'all. Okay. Let's pull this up here. Now it's logged in on my end. So, I hope nobody don't message me right now. Okay. Please do not message me because it's going to pop up on screen in about 2 seconds. All right. Unless you want it to pop up. You want it to pop up, that's on you. Okay. But this one right here, I can officially say I have spoke with Max and Gary personally. It just proved to me again that things aren't always what they seem. We'll speak more about it on the podcast. So that's why I'm here. Look at Shane. Shane, I knew you were going to do it. Look at that. Anything we... Damn you, Shane. Love you, dude. Now, you see a hashtag free Gary Bowser. I'm going to move my Nick Moses name. I don't like my name showing up. Everybody knows. That's kind of like, redundant. Okay, let me take that off. Bam. Maybe when MGR comes on, I'll turn it back on so you can see name, and I'm sure someone else will jump in. If you do not have the Restream link, I will put it in now. Okay, so let's get to it. Now, when and I'm not going to start from the beginning. I know people saying, oh, don't go from the beginning. Oh, God, I'm not. I'm going to save you a lot of time. We're going to get straight into the smoke. Okay, appreciate that. Watching in the Philippines, man. Gunshots for you. I don't know why the gunshots. I should have gave you a bomb. My fault. It's a little violent. I know. They're there. They're there on the soundboard. Yes. So, Bowser and the Slammer. Man, let's talk about it. So, I have spoken with Max and Gary. A lot of this, and I would like to go from the start. A lot of people do not know why this came about or how this even started. What the hell? A lot of people are just like, this came out the blue, Nick. What the hell? We thought Team Executor stuff was under wraps. We're only reading transcripts in the courtroom. No, there's more. Yeah, your boy dug deeper. All right. So let me explain. Everybody knows when I had COVID, I actually think we missed 2 shows because I was sick as hell. Okay, sick as hell. I mean, couldn't even hold food down, drinking liquid, lost 12 pounds, felt like shit. Feel great now. When I had COVID and got better, I had a clarity that came above me. Just something. It was just something that made me more grounded. And I started thinking of other things. Started thinking of different topics, different shows, so many different things. There's a lot of interviews. I just mentioned a couple of them. So many different things that have went through that I've started doing. One of the things that I started doing is I wanted to dig deeper on the team executor scenario. Let's say that. I wanted to dig deeper. It was something that I've been a part of from damn near the beginning. Why wouldn't I dig deeper? So I did. And some people know that I spoke with Max, which, by the way, I'll show a couple things and I'll actually read something from Gary Bowser himself. Okay? Actually, he said I can read it on stream. But let me go ahead and get through everything. So I always thought, why has nobody officially got an interview or, any type of direct words from Gary, from Max, from Chen? That's how it started. I started digging. I was digging, y'all. I'm talking about I gotta think of something. And you know what? I thought about it. Max is already on my Instagram. Max has been following me for a while. Okay? So that was cool. I said, and shout out Sage too. Let me give you a bomb, Sage. I see you. Sage got the YouTube doing his thing. I appreciate it. Love your support, brother. We're going to be talking. Okay, we're going to be talking. But I had Max on my Instagram as a friend. Max has been a friend of my Instagram for a very long time. Not even sure how long, but I just know when I first heard the name Max, looked him up, found him, friend request, bam. And Max accepts. I don't know if he's biased against who he accepts, but after you accepted me, I know you went to my profile. I know you seen clips. So Max knew about me. Time goes on. So something told me, let me start by messaging Max. And I didn't know what to say. I'm like, yo, what the hell am I going to say to Max? Mr. running from the damn feds right now, staying away from any U.S. jurisdiction because they going to lock that ass up. He knows very well. From what I understand of Max, he was also arrested for the whole paradox. Pleaded guilty, served years, served his time, clear that. Okay, so that's why I stand here and say, Max, do your thing. He out. I ain't the one, trying to catch anybody. It's not anything I care about. And I didn't even want to dig in too much with the case because I know how that is, speaking about cases and certain things over anything. So before I even go into the communication between Max and Gary, I just want everybody to know this. I am not worried. Okay. Every single thing I believe I sent, message-wise, letter-wise, phone calls, no matter what it was, I already got in my head it's recorded. It's recorded. So anything I'm saying now is not something that is not already known. I want to put that out there. The word specifically may not have been put out because there's some, guard who's just probably scanning the letters or, listening to calls or some, internet cop checking Instagram. It's happening. It happens all the time. I see all types of shit. I mentioned Nintendo before and I've had my stream drop. No lie. Might sound like conspiracy theory shit. And I leave that to Death Specimen. Okay. He's a whole conspiracy theorist. I'll leave that to him. But for me, I know all that. So I'm not too much worried about anything as far as government, police, anything. I mean, if they have everything laid out for them, if it was anything for me, I would have been gone already a long time ago. So let's say that. Now, and I see you there in the chat. I'm going to get ready to, if you want to bring me up. Okay. All right, cool. MGR, I see you. I'm going to give you that time. I'll bring you in. I'm going to let you talk, and then I'll go ahead and explain some more things. So go ahead, do your thing. Let me know when you're ready. And I see Eric there, too. My dog, Eric.
Can you dig
I gave you one.
sucker?
I gave you one. I wasn't supposed to do that. That was supposed to be a Magnus special. You got it. Okay. So, it's so much. I reached out to Max after my podcast episode last week. The reason I wanted to do that, I did it specifically. And let me turn myself down because I don't want to be echoing, my own ear. But the reason I did that specifically is because I wanted to send Max the clip. I wanted him to hear me in my full form, in its entirety. I didn't want no cuts, no edits. I wanted him to know, that's me, right? I really wasn't expecting a response at all. Was not. From what I heard, other people have tried and has not responded. Okay? That's what I heard. I don't know. Speaking from my own, testimony. But I heard no one else has reached out. Now, if they reached out not reached out, no one else has got a response, And if they did get a response, they did not mention it. So, Max actually responds. Now, I could show the entire screenshot. But for me, this is a journalistic journey. So I'm going to hold some integrity there. I'm not going to show the entire thing. What I'll go ahead and do is, let's see, I could log in and I'll go ahead and pull it up. One thing I want to say is that Max specifically said a couple things that stood out to me that I was just like, Shout out, Max. Max, shout you out, man. Shout you out. I don't know why my Instagram's asking me this right now. Let me put this on. Right, there we go. Bam. Okay, cancel. We'll do that later. Okay, we'll do that later. We ain't worried about that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Max. There were a couple things that Max said. One thing that Max said that stood out to me, and I'm going to let you guys make your own testimony of it, okay? One thing that Max said specifically that stood out to me was Gary is broke, okay? And I want to say I wasn't too surprised by that because I was seeing a lot of articles, okay, of Gary's apartment, explaining when they came and got him through the extradition process, how he was living. Now, what's weird about that is Max also said that the articles that were put out about that were actually painting the narrative that Gary is actually not broke, but he is now. That's crazy. So Max just let it out. And not only that, he said he found the piece entertaining. Yes. Shout out Max. Max found Nick Moses' 05 piece entertaining and said even more, said he would love to give me more details on it. Okay. I didn't push Max for an interview or nothing like that. I said, yo, chill. I'm gonna just, I want to let him know. I ain't about that. I'm not about all that messy shit. I just love to get deeper than what's really going on. Another thing Max said was Gary is not, I repeat, not a part of Team Executor. No, I can't. I cannot. Yes, he is not part of Team Executor at all. He said at all, like Gary was not. Max is claiming I'm repping TX, but Gary was not. Now, there are other people here who have spoke with Gary. Gary, when I get down to Gary's part, we in a whole new ball game, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and get that ready now on the side, okay? So, with Max, he said that Gary is not a part of Team Executor. And on top of that, he also said he sees Gary as part of Team Executor now because he took the fall. And that's honorable. I do say that. But one thing that he did say as well that was troubling. He said Gary testified against him. He said it. He said Gary testified against him. He said no hard feelings. He actually said it in a way where I actually felt there was no bitterness there. There's no bitterness at all. But he said Gary testified against him. And he believes that the reason Gary testified against him was because of the U.S. court system and the way they have you plea out deals. He went deeper into that. I'm not going to get into the whole political thing because, you know, he actually watched on the last episode. As I said, America's a beautiful place, but I understand because he's living that life. And he came back. He said, yo, America's beautiful. Don't even talk. Like, he loves America too. I don't want to get that twisted. Max has said many times, yo, cool. But Gary testified against him. He still does not have any bitterness towards it. But he did testify against him. He did. And that is more than likely the reason a lot of people believe Gary is getting less time. He's going to be getting less time. It could be true. I don't want to say that or not. I don't have the public records to say if he testified or not against him. That's something later. What's also, just so you guys know, Gary Bowser has his own paperwork. I can ask Gary. I can say, yo, Gary, show us the proof. Show us the proof. But other than that, I'm going to finish up with Max and I'm going to get to Gary and then I'm going to let MGR in because right after, okay, DM me after this. Okay. All right, cool. I got you, MGR. I got you. One thing I want to say specifically before I move on to Gary is that Max lives the life of a superstar, man. Max has a Russian model as a wife. Now, my wife, she a model too. She might not be, you know, a U.S. model, Russian model, but she my model, damn it. But Max has a Russian model. And that's not to say, you know, that makes him better or less, but, you know, Max has a younger wife as well. You know, hey, older guy, Max is in shape. He's not out there, you know, crazy. So Max probably has, you know, equipment to take care of himself, or either he's dedicated, self-motivated, you know, has a nutritionist, has a fitness coach, has something, but he's able to afford these things even after he got out of jail from Paradox. He came right back. He got back in the game. Usually that's something a lot of people don't do. They get out the game, they stay out the game. If you got locked up for selling crack, you don't go back to selling crack. If you got locked up for knocking somebody out, next time you put them to sleep. You know what I mean? You don't typically do the same thing. And Max went right back. Max also had an article on Louarn, which I post. Max, you know, let him know, hey, this is kind of his lifestyle. This is how he's lived. He's been doing this for a long time, for years to come. And Max has been, you know, besides the one hiccup, he's been able to swing through everything else pretty good. All right. So now I'm going to get Eric in because Eric, he said, didn't have too much time. MGR want to bring him in too, but I want to go ahead and bring my man Eric in right now. Yo, Eric, can you hear me okay?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? Yo, I'm glad to speak with you. I got so much I just want to speak with you about. One thing, Eric, is specifically, I know there was a Nintendo Switch saga that, you know, went on that I do want the update on. But, you know, right now, let me ask Eric, with Max or Gary, have you dealt with any of them or spoke with any of them at any point?
I have not.
Okay. I was just curious. I want to ask everyone that because I just always wondered, you know, why me? Why did I, you know, do it and no one else did? I you know, it's, and let me ask you this, Eric, and then I'm gonna get to more of what you call in for. But Eric, do you think that anyone else has tried to reach out to Max or Gary during this whole thing? Or do you just think people just didn't care enough, didn't think they answer? Why is it that I got the contact? Strange to me.
That's a little strange to me as well. I'm sure other people have reached out to him. It's not like they just fell off the face of the earth.
Sure. Okay. Now, Eric, I know there was a whole thing before with a Nintendo Switch, which, by the way, you do great jobs on repairing those. By the way, I'm sure you, hopefully you haven't had 5 more come through your desk. Okay. But, so what happened with that, Eric? Is all that settled now? Is the gentleman fine? Is he enjoying himself? How has all that broken down?
What are we talking about?
Now we're talking about B-Dow. I know B-Dow. one specific.
Yeah. I actually haven't spoke to him since he got his console back from me.
It's always good.
He's checked in a couple times. He's like, "Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that?" I've helped him out a little bit, and he's asked me a couple questions. Other than that, I haven't heard from him at all.
That's the best customer. That's the best one. You know what I mean? That means they're good. So, Eric, anything you have to say about all this? Chime in. Floor is yours.
A lot of it has to touch on what we were talking about last week. You had Dead Specimen on, and he was going through a bunch of stuff, and I was pretty firmly in agreement with him on about everything. Joe came on and said that, the guy doesn't deserve to be in prison. I agree with that. I mean, I don't know how old he is. Is he in his 50s?
He's 53.
Right. So did he break the law? Yeah, probably. Was he extradited fairly? Probably not. Does he deserve to be in a federal penitentiary? Absolutely not. There's several other ways he could be a contributing member of society than sitting in a federal prison. That's my thoughts.
Well said. No, well said. And I will say this: do you think Nintendo is the cause of all this, or do you think the government may have had taps and everything even before Nintendo kind of laid out the the death sentence and all the information they had? Do you think this is something the government had their eyes on already, or do you think Nintendo was just the primary contributing factor to the snowball rolling?
I think maybe a little bit of both. I think Nintendo gave it the push. However, if there was, I don't really know the entire thing of what happened, but if there was all the tax evasion or what other charges, the federal government might have been involved without Nintendo anyway, and then Nintendo was just the final straw to push that snowball over the edge.
No, I don't say it. For me, I will tell you, Eric, I was amazed. Okay, I was amazed. I'm like, yo, I am talking to them just as normal. And I also have to go through, it's a federal jail. So right. Now I know they have my number. They have my address. They have everything. Okay. And a lot of people were worried. I had people telling me like, hey, it is not just people online. I had people actually in my life like, hey, man, be careful. Okay. Do you think, Eric, being in this seat, would there be anything that I should worry about? Because to me, I feel like there's nothing. Everything's out there. I'm talking about everything. And hey, there's nothing. Is there anything here risky if I'm not talking about the case?
I don't think so. You're just doing your part of being part of the press. Honestly, they can't do anything about that. You're speaking your mind, and you're letting other people speak their minds.
True. I agree. Yeah, you said it best. And I see Isaiah, get rid of your mind. Hey, Isaiah, man, you know what? I ain't gonna lie. They already here, man. It's too late. I did too many episodes showing them on screen. If I'm caught, they got that episode. They got the switch I had, the serial number. It's all done. Okay. If they know I got it at this point. No. So, Eric, now I'm gonna try to bring a couple others on because I'm gonna get to some more things. But let me ask you: is there anything that, if you could ask about anything specifically, and it doesn't even matter if it's about the case or whatever, what would be something you would want to know? Because I'm trying to get more things to ask and get deeper. What is something that you could think of maybe to ask either one?
I kind of put it in the comments last week, and I've always had this, wonder in the back of my head. You have people like this that are systematically breaking down your security systems on your consoles. Why not hire the fucking guys? I mean, why would you not want to do that? Obviously, your crew isn't getting the job done because they're going right through your security like nothing. I mean, Xbox did it. The PlayStation's broke. Why wouldn't you hire some of these guys? Stop. If you want the jailbreaks and the hacks and stuff to stop, get them off of what they're working on and get them working for you. Why put the guy through 40 months of sitting in jail? Hire him. Let him work off what he owes you, something.
You're preaching, man. You're preaching. I always wondered that, like, if someone, and I thought that was how you got the job, being a hacker. I'm not a hacker. You know, but I thought you walked up to the spot, you hacked into the system, you walked to the owner and said, hey, look what I could do to your system. Give me a job.
Absolutely.
So I thought it worked. So no, not
I was always curious about that.
no, I'm gonna make sure to relay that. I'm gonna relay it. I've been speaking with him, believe it or not, Eric, every single day, multiple times a day.
Who's that, Gary?
Gary. So much
Good for you.
so that I've heard so much. So let me ask, Eric, any question you got for me? Since you guys are on, any question you got for me?
How's he doing? I mean, I missed the beginning part of your show, so maybe
No,
you
that's a
touched
great
on
question.
that. But how
That's
is
a
he
great
holding
question.
up?
I did speak about it on the other show, but I didn't have as much detail as I have now.
Right.
So multiple things. I'm actually gonna pull up some, but one is the biggest thing: his leg. Right? He's got a leg that he's a bigger guy, and he has a leg and he has a knee issue. So he does have a wheelchair. He can get around with a cane, but not for long periods of time. That's one, right? Another thing, before Gary was sentenced, okay, so that was going through the pre-trial, all that things. He was on a whole nother floor. So there's like 4 floors in this jail. And Gary was on a specific floor pre-trial, and you could only guess. The Wild Boys. Okay. So going through all types of crap. They have COVID 23-1 shutdowns. I mean, you name it, he told me he's seen it. Even so much so, the basketball Golden State and Boston Celtics game, it went down over that just not that long ago.
Wow.
Okay, so it's going down.
So tell me how that's justified that a guy like him belongs in that place like that. That's not justified at all.
I agree. And what's weird from my position is I've actually been in jail before. I've seen it. I know how it is. I hear the background chatter. I've seen a dude walk in and leave out 5 minutes in protective custody. They beat him up that fast. You know what I mean? So I could only imagine. Older people are a little better because, stay out of our way. But if they were to steal your stuff, it's not much you can do, and that's kind of a sad thing. So I agree. Doesn't deserve to be there. In pre-trial, he said it was terrible. Everything, as always, you've probably seen 60 Days In, is race divided. That's something he's also mentioned. So you got the black area, white area, the Hispanic area, and then you got the Chinese, Native American, everything else area. That's the way you go. So it's kind of like any other jail, but it's scary. It's scary in the jail with all these other people. And I've looked some of these people, man, they known for whooping ass. Okay, that's all they do.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. You got young guys in there, man. Young guys. Some got 21, 22. I'm like, what the hell? But he's doing better now because now that he has been sentenced, they sentenced him to put him in a better floor. So he's on a better floor. Less craziness going on. And on top of that, he's now working. And, they have different things you can do. He's looking at an electrician job. So that's where he's at now. And he's hoping, he can do that, hopefully get off a little earlier. Because right now, it's set for July of 2023. That's the release date. If it gets out a little sooner, it's going to be on good behavior. There you go.
Shouldn't have a problem with that, I wouldn't think.
I don't think so. He's already behaving so damn good. Right. Get him out of here. This dude is great. Nah, he's already, since he's been sentenced, got to the new floor, already working because now he knows he's going to be serving the rest of his time. So some of the things that he mentioned were, for me, he asked me to print up some of those articles because he has not, believe it or not, seen any of these articles. Okay, like all these different publications talking about him and different things they're saying. He has no idea at all. So I'm like, wow, no access to the internet. There's a system they use that's just a one-way system. That is it. So they have a radio, but of course, if you're not, on 97.3 or 107 point something, he's not hearing you.
No.
So, kind of unfair. But Eric, before I because I know MGR wanted to come in as well. I got anything you want to say before I let you go?
I've had a few of the fixes to take care of. from a certain installer.
You know what?
Not to beat a dead horse, but I fixed a few of them. I know there's still a couple of them going around, and I'm glad that people are getting them taken care of.
And you know what? You're right. I don't, but I do. Do you think he's still out there doing it?
Not sure. Anybody that I've talked to has not even seen or heard from him.
Same here. Okay. All right.
So, but the other thing I wanted to put out there was I'm taking a break from doing installs for the summertime. I wanted to let everybody know.
Nice. You deserve it. Okay. I know how that is. All right. Just take the break. I am so happy that I have not done anything, repairs, installs, anything for the Nintendo Switch. Because Xbox 360, I was on it. I was doing them all. PlayStation 3, I'm like, oh, I can move on. And then I just said, nope, this time around, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to sit back. And it's a lot. Now I'm focusing on other things. So definitely take your time, enjoy yourself, focus on what you need to. And whenever you're ready, just come back.
I still got you whenever you make it to Rockford.
I look, I am not playing, Eric. You are the closest stop to me. Yep. So you are only the next thing in line. Okay. This is like, over email and stuff, but you're literally not far. So you're the next in line for me to see. So we'll have to set something up. It will be with my console. I'll bring everything. And we'll just, hey, it's Kumbaya recorded and we'll talk shit and we'll push it.
Sounds good. You see,
Eric,
you see Magnus's last comment there?
Yo, I guess.
No. Magnus is in the chat. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, man. Wow, bro. Wow. So it's
So speaking of Magnus, since I'm stepping away, he's a great person to get a hold of and get your work done if you need it done.
Nice one. I agree. Magnus, great work. Dude is stand up. I can't say nothing bad about him. Yo, Eric, my dude. I'll holla at you, my dude.
All right, take it easy.
Later. Now, I'm going to bring my man MGR in. I'm going to post a restream link because I see my man G.I. Joe. I got you. I'm not going to do that. Because any questions anybody have, I'm going to talk more, but I like to also get questions because I have so much. And just so you know, I'm going to bring MGR in, but I want to show something. This is the message log between him. If I click a message, that's how every single one is. If I can scroll up, I think I got my finger on it. There we go. That's how every one is. So imagine I have this many filled. Now, I'm not going to go through what everyone says. Hey, that's between, a lot of this stuff is private too. That's why that message I'm not worried about. Okay. So let me bring my man MGR. There we go. MGR, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let me first tell you, it's a pleasure, sir. As always, we've been speaking a long time. It is always an honor to have you on the platform, sir. How are you doing?
Horribly shitty week, but yeah.
And believe me, I've been there with the shitty weeks, and sometimes you feel shitty, might be sick. You got to still do business because shit doesn't do itself. So
yeah,
kind of one of those things. So let me ask MGR. I seen you wrote in the chat that you have spoke with Gary back in the Xbox days, which was mentioned multiple times in the indictment. A lot of people know he was part of a group called Oasis Pensive Applicators, something along those lines.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't heard it, right? And I went back and checked, looked into these things. So, but you came across Gary in Xbox days. When you spoke with Gary, how was that conversation?
I honestly don't remember, but I know I had contact with him in the past before, but this is going back like 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to remember that.
And I agree with you. I don't remember too many conversations from 15 years ago. But Gary was kind of like public facing. He was always out there. I seen the Gary Opa many times, like all over the place, always seen it. And I thought it was just normal. I thought he was just part of the team. He's just relaying messages. What do you think?
Yeah, it was always introducing a new casino or a new phone for the last 3 years, but
no, that's how I felt about it. It was just like, hey, that was what he was. And then all this falls. MGR, you were one of the people that let me know when shit was about to hit the fan. You were one of the people. There were a lot of people that were not as keen on that as you were. How or why are you, or do you have that spidey sense? Because many people don't have that, including me at that point.
It was just, there was too many people publicly posting installs, guides on how to pirate games, so on and so forth. But to be honest with you, there's a video from another YouTube channel, a guy that I watch. He's from Canada as well. He did a good piece on the whole arrest when it all happened, and he said, "How can you hide from it when your website clearly showed?" It was I don't remember what game it was, but they were like, "Oh yeah, we released a patch for an upcoming game, quote unquote." You're promoting piracy, right? They can say it all they want that they weren't, but when you're literally selling devices, not the chips, but I think it was called True Blue, right? I didn't even know that was a part of them. But that was in like all the paperwork that was released on the internet, right? When you're doing that, yeah, you're going to eventually have problems, right? That said, I think I don't think the government actually gives a shit, to be honest with you. I think the main problem was the money laundering, and then it just kind of snowballed into everything else.
And you know what? A lot of times that does happen, especially with, federal crimes.
Right.
Some of them are not worth seeking, and it's just not worth their time. But when they get the big one, now it's, hey, we got you for the big one. You're right. I think money laundering was one. I think wire fraud, conspiracy for wire fraud, a lot of those things. You're right.
And those are major crimes.
They are. They're major, super major. I mean, those crimes could cost an economy. Like some people, there's laws for a reason, and I do agree with that. And you're right about the website. That was something that I believe was in the indictment as well. They also shown a screenshot of a game that was not released yet, or didn't have any screenshots that were put out there of that specific game. So there were many things. They were kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Do you think that's where Gary failed, or do you think Gary just kind of got sucked into something that he had no idea what was really going on?
He knew what was going on, man. He's been in this game for so long. He knew exactly what was going on. My mind's drawing a blank on what I was just going to say, so if I remember it, I'll say it when I remember it.
No, you good, and I agree with you 120%. I think he knew. One thing is, I did ask to speak with Gary about the case.
Yeah.
Gary's told me, he said he does not want to speak anything about the case until
he probably can't, to be honest.
And you're right. You're right. And I figured that. And I more didn't want to get, too deep into the case, more wanted to get his feelings on things. So that's why I had to phrase it. But you're right. I do think of that. He's still in there. He still has lawyers. He's still, who knows what might happen. So I'm glad he did mention that. There was a lot of things. That was the first message he stated. Did not want to speak about names. Okay. He did not want to speak about the case. Those were two things.
Yeah.
Now, John asked the same question I asked to Eric. I always wonder, like, I did this out the blue, right? I came to this coming of Jesus moment where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get Gary and I'm going to speak with him and we're going to have a huge conversation. I know him and he knows me. And, why do you think no one else has, or do you think other people have reached out to Gary and Max and maybe nobody just wrote back? What do you think?
I don't think as many people know the name as you might think they do. I don't think people really, they just want a chip. They don't care about the background of the team. They don't care where it comes from. They just want it. That said, look what happened, right? The chips disappeared.
Yeah.
More came along. You're never going to stop it. So if they wanted to really truly stop it, put more money into your security, pay a bug bounty, have a bug bounty program for people that, if you found a flaw, you submit it to them. They patch it out. They don't do that. Sony's been paying some guy like 10 grand, 20 grand on each friggin' bounty
The
submitted.
flow. He's been getting paid.
Exactly. And they don't really get disclosed either after the fact.
Man,
They used to, but it's probably part of the agreement now that they can't disclose it.
Yes, and from what I understand, I believe the Flow actually got permission from Sony, and they actually gave him permission to have the whole entire class and explain the exploit and everything. So you're right. Bounty program, very simple. The Flow is able to benefit, is able to teach the class, educate, and now this one is kind of like, hey, no program, and something happens, we're taking it down, fan art, or, maybe someone made a game long ago that used something that was related to Nintendo has to come down. So I do agree. I think Nintendo's a lot of it. The government, I think you're right. Once the big crimes come in and, you're a district attorney or you're someone trying to get that next big thing, these are big cases. These are the cases you got to take. Do you feel like that the district attorney or the prosecutor, do you feel like they got the big fish? Or do you feel like they said, hey, I agree?
Not at all. The chips are out there again. They're everywhere.
I totally agree. Because I always thinking that to myself. I'm just like, man, they got the guy that was the public.
They got the spokesperson.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I have Max saying in his own words, Gary is not a part of Team Executor. He did say, I consider him a part of Team Executor now that he took the fall. You know what I mean? But I
can't really comment on that because I don't know for sure.
Yeah, me either.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't really care either. But, it's back to the whole thing with the whole bug bounty program. Nintendo would rather sue everyone than just put more money into security. All right. That's all it is.
That's true. That's true. I said, you said it better than I could even say it, because there are many bug bounty programs. This is not anything new. It's something they've been doing for years, and it's not hard to implement, so I agree. It's just, they don't want to do it. I'm not sure. I actually think, and this is just my own, I might put my dead specimen conspiracy theory hat, but I actually think they profited off of it. I think they profited, and in return, they did have loss of profits as well, but I don't think it outweighed the profits. I think Nintendo comes out the winner in all of this because, hey, they got more money, more systems sold, and guess what? We put one of the big fishes in jail, and now people know you do not mess with Nintendo. That's how I feel.
Yeah, they still mess with it. That's the thing, right? Again, you can't stop it. And look at the Series X. Look at the PS5. Yes, people will do what they can to exploit it. But on the other hand, when you have a service like Game Pass or whatever the one that the PlayStation has now, people have much less of a want to resort to piracy on these things, because when you look at Game Pass and there's tons and tons and tons of games, it's not, I don't know.
Yeah, you preaching, man. You preaching. I call it the good old honeypot. You put a bunch of things in here so they know they got all of this, and they say, why do I need to go anywhere else?
Exactly.
No.
But it is what it is. So
it is. And, you got people, hobbyists, who are just going to do it just to do it, so you're going to have those, but those are a very small number. So I'm with you on that. There's a lot of piracy stuff. So MGR, before I let you go, any last words you got to say on anything or to anyone? The floor is yours.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Man, appreciate that. MGR, before I even let you go, man, I never forget that moment, man. I never forget that moment when you told me, hey, I think you might want to take a video down. And I said, yeah, you're right, man. I agree. I'm going to take it down. And I left it up, right? I said,
and then they got you.
Damn you, MGR. But you were totally right. They got me and lost my channel for a bit. So if you ever give
I mean,
advice,
these things, these like lawsuits and all that kind of stuff has happened before, right? I don't remember what the website was called, but it was when the PS2 mod chip was out. Not the direct boot one, the swap one, way back, and they sued some European company for like $4 million or something like that. And it's always gonna happen. You're always gonna have your lawsuits. They always settle and blah blah blah. You don't know what the true outcome is in the end. The public won't know the true outcome usually. Right? There's probably more to this whole thing with Gary than anyone knows. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know, but
I totally agree. Nah, MGR, man, I appreciate it, sir. You enjoy. Are you a father, sir?
I am not, and nor do I ever plan to be.
Yo, you are. You know what? And I got my kids. I love my blessed, but you, man, you are.
It's not for me.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Yo, MGR, you take it easy, my dude.
Yeah, man. Hit me up on Discord when you're done this.
Yes, I remember. I got you.
All right, man. Bye.
Later. All right, cool. MGR, my dog. And yo, some of the things he said, and I'm gonna bring in. I got two other people to bring in, but I want to go ahead and do this. This is one I'm gonna read. Okay. This is one I actually wrote Gary, and I asked him specifically, is there anything he wanted to say? At the top of it, you'll even see where he says, thanks for your reply. I don't know if you can see that. Thanks for your reply. No luck with phone today. Gary was supposed to call today. I was going to get a call today. For anyone that don't know, you can't just call or mail or get email from anybody. You do have to be put on an approved list. The person has to go up there and say, hey, yes, I want this person on my list. And they got it. And you have so many people you can put. He put me on the list. Okay. So I am appreciative of Gary. I want to make sure that anything that either for Max or Gary that they relay to me, I'm relaying it as they're relaying to me. I'm not trying to get any information out of the case or anything to damage them even further. But I just want to get that out of the way. So now I'm going to bring in, I do got my man Kyle. I got my man Joe here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I think Kyle first here. Bring my man Kyle in. Yo, Kyle.
Oh, hi. I just was making sure my mic was working. I think it is.
Hey, good. Your mic's working, man. Great. First of all, Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good today. It's Father's Day. I wasn't sure if I'd be here, but here we are.
Nice. Now, for those who don't know, Kyle, okay, I've been speaking with Kyle and Des Specimen, a little exclusive, okay? We've been talking. All right, so one thing that I thought about Kyle for the longest was, and you know, it was something that you even thought for a moment, and I want to ask, is there anything that you think I could say or anything I could do where I could possibly go wrong in this, as long as I'm not speaking about the case? Is there anything else you can think of?
Not speaking about the case.
Only not speaking about the case. So I could ask Gary anything, I could ask Max anything, but not speaking about the case. As long as I don't speak about the case, I'm not scared of any heat. Am I okay with that?
I think you yourself will be fine. Okay. However, you might bring up some other things. You might get them to speak about some other things they may have done before the executor. And that spurs them under the bus, not you.
Got it.
That's my concern.
Okay. So, and I'm glad you said that, because that's one thing I have been aware of. You know, I take Gary as my guest. All right. If I brought him on the show, just the same way, you get the pleasure, you get to talk, you get to state, you know, whatever it is. And that's, I appreciate Gary's time. There was one moment where I did write the name Max in there. Let me ask you, Kyle, do you think that was a bad move?
Writing Max is probably fine, considering that you've already said stuff about that. Yep. You writing Max to Gary would not change anything, considering that it's already public information that you've.
Great. Great answer. And the reason I asked you specifically that because when he responded back, he did not mention Max. He did not even say Max's name anywhere in the response message, and specifically wrote back, "Don't mention names." And it was kind of weird because on one side I had Max, who was like, hey, Gary's broke. He testified against me, but it's all good. I'm putting money on Gary's, commissary. He's good. We taking care of him. He's part of Team Executor now, right? And then I got the other side. It's like, yo, don't even say names. And everything else was about anything else but Max. And what I wrote specifically, I almost want to, it's just so much damn writing. But I almost want to say it was asking him, has he heard about anything that Max has said over this entire period? Is that a little risque question? Is that risque? I didn't think it was risque. I thought it was okay. I thought it was like, hey, I just want to know, because what I was doing was getting a temperature check, right? I don't necessarily know who speaks to who or what's even true. So I'm just trying to see, and feel how close is Gary and Max really. And the more I'm starting to feel, I don't think they're so close. Could you see Gary just being the guy that got a phone call and heard information and that was it? Never be seen, none of that? Because that's kind of like what the relationship feels like.
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so.
Okay, no, but I want to elaborate on that. So I know there was a lot of things in the indictment, a lot of things they did where you figure they had to have a little more communication, especially with what's going up, what's being released. You got dates, distribution dates. You got a lot of different things that takes a lot of coordination. I agree. It, to me, seems difficult to handle without having more than, just your standard phone call and hanging up. Is that why, or is there something else that you think?
Okay, they definitely have had some communication between the two of them. But, I normally have a lot that I can think of, a lot that I can interpret. I don't really have much to say about this. I just don't know.
No, I'm right with you. I don't know. So on this scenario, if I was to, because right now I have possible interviews with Gary and Max, okay, both on the table. Nothing confirmed, I want to say, but I could say with Max, it was a big old heart when I said, I want the scoop. Okay. And you know how Instagram go. You got to push that button. He didn't push it on any other one. He pushed it on that one. That was almost my confirmation that Max is down. Right. Then there's Gary. Gary's mentioning he tried to call me today. Okay. Gary says in his own words, you can record the phone call. Okay. He wants me to record the phone call. Gary wants to get communication out. So I'm going to ask you, Kyle, how do you think I should go about this? What would be the way to make it the biggest thing ever, the biggest interview? Max, Gary, what is something that you think I should do? Because I'm old, man. My mind is just hey, I got some great interviews. Let me see if I could, sell them to someone. Maybe I can nail myself a journalist job that I don't give two, craps about. I don't know. What do you think? Young mind, very smart. What would you think that I could do to make this? Wow.
You gotta ask the questions everybody wants to know the answer. Everybody wants to know.
That's true.
A lot of these interviews are pretty tamed down, right? Gotta actually ask the questions people care about while trying not to harm them. It is a difficult situation. If they say the wrong thing, they could end up with a worse sentence.
I agree. Well said. So, Kyle, if I was to do an interview, let's say I'm start with Gary. Do you think it'd be better for me to have them over the web through some maybe system, maybe they have, or over the phone? Or do you think it'd be better for me to go there and sit down and do the interview? And think about
Going there would be crazy.
think about me, because I have to walk through that jail too, even though I'm clean. I don't have any records. It's not going to happen, but I don't mind sitting down for that interview. Okay. But what about me? Is this something I should worry about walking in that jail? Like, hey, Nick, we got you. What do you think? What would be better?
I feel like it's relatively safe and secure in most prisons, especially state penitentiaries.
Yeah.
Like that is meant to be secure, meant to keep people safe. Kind of.
You would end with a kinda, okay? But you're right. Things happen. Things happen. I have looked up, and they do have a media registration that I would have to go through. There is a media registration process. Doing the podcast for so long now, I do qualify as media, so I can go ahead and do that. It is something that I'm thinking about. I even spoke with Gary about. He suggested that he doesn't mind doing it, but would rather do it when he gets out. Okay. And I understand because of the case, maybe there's certain questions I do want to ask that I may not be able to ask. Do you think that Gary, let me ask you this, because you're a young mind. Do you think that Gary could be catfishing me?
Kyle?
Do you think?
I don't know if you heard that, but hold.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. So let me know when you're there. But the reason I say that is because I feel as though there were a couple times that situations are bad. They get bad. But I felt a couple times where it was kind of like, I don't know, like I was being catfished. And believe me, I think we all have been catfished at some point in this generation. Okay. I thank God that, I don't go through any of those situations anymore. But we've all been catfished. A lot of this information I know for 100% fact because it's verified on another side. But some of it, and that's why I'm only going to say what I believe is true. But okay, Max pay for you to travel out of state to do the interview. Yo, you know what? I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna ask Max. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna say, shoot, if you want to, Max, I'll fly to France. I got a passport. You can go ahead and pay. I just, if I write that over Instagram, I might be scared though, because they're gonna literally know I'm going directly to where Max is. I might have some, some damn agents following me the whole way. I don't know. Nintendo Ninjas work smooth. They might, be looking like normal Men in Black and then just come out there and who knows, start kicking my ass. So but I would definitely fly out to France. I have my passport. It's beautiful, beautiful out there where it's at. All right. And I think it's Avignon, France. So, Kyle.
Eating sandals is not the worst thing.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So, Kyle, and also I want to say this because I do got, Joe there. And I'm going to bring Joe in a moment. Kyle, what do you think? Because there's a lot of people that are interested in this. If I was to do the interview, do you think it's smarter to do the interview one person? Or do you think it's smarter to have others in the interview with me?
Others in the interview let you have more I don't know how to describe it. Like you have more of a reason to not say specific, right? Like you don't want to screw over the other people with you, and you don't want to screw over the people that you are interviewing. Having more people there also means they will be tamer. You have less, I don't know, less control over what happens too, though. It's more hectic the more people you have.
I agree. And I pondered on that because, as you know, there is a few people who would love to be a part. And I've even thought, and I'm right there with you. It's a fine line. I want to make sure, one side is comfortable. And then I want to make sure that we're not, stepping into guidelines where they might feel, hey, this is too much for me, hang up, and certain things like that. So, man, Kyle, you're hitting it to the T. So, Kyle, before you're out, man, anything you got to say, anything that's on, your mind or anything before you're out?
I might just stop working.
Yeah, it did.
What happened there?
Died in the middle of nothing. You know what I mean?
For the interview itself, we are trying to line up other people for it. If you have anything that you are curious about, shoot a message to me, Dead Specimen, Nick. I don't know. Probably Joe can get you in contact. It's just, if you want to know something, ask, please. You asking the questions means that that's what people want to know, and that's what we ask.
Yeah.
So please, for the love of everything, just ask the question you want to know.
Damn. So let me drop a bomb for you, sir. That was so well said. Because I agree. My questions, you're right. And I'm only going to be so much. And I do have a spot in my heart for Gary. Okay, it's something there. All right, I don't know. I can't bite it, but it's just something there. So some of the questions I might not dig to, someone else may. And that's why I agree. You need to ask the question. As always, Kyle, my dude, we're going to be talking after this. And again, we're going to keep talking. So I'm going to holler at you later, my dude.
Talk to you later.
Later. Now, one thing, and I'm going to bring my man, G.I. Joe, on. And one thing he said, oh, my goodness, you do the interview with him when he gets out. I'll drive to Chicago to be there. Drop a bomb for my man, Eric. I ain't going to lie. You know what I mean? I would love to bring him in. But the thing is that this is another thing. I'm actually, just to confirm, I'm not saying this, right? So I want to see if you can read that. Can y'all read that? Good, you have a passport. Then we can get together at some point. Would love to meet up some point. Also in Dominican Republic. Once my 3 years of supervised release is up, I will be able to visit USA more freely. And I can go on and read, okay? But just more of going on about him asking him, he was a lot of people in there making the Canadian jokes. Hey, you're Canadian. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. And, he probably hears that shit like twice a day. So I'm sure, at 53 years old, blame Canada ain't the best shit you want to hear. So I made some jokes about, getting some Canadians in there with you, He said it's only like 4 Canadians in the whole jail. And it's like 800, 900 people. So not a good ratio of Canadians. I'm just going to say that. So one more thing before I bring Joe in. He says, anyway, just a shout out to all the fathers out there. Nothing else at the moment. Take care, and we'll be in touch later tonight. He also said, if you can get a hold of my transcript from my sentencing, you will see why my sentence took so long to finish. Okay. So the transcript is out there. That's something I think we went over in a previous episode. So I'm not even going to go through that. But I mean, it's a lot, man. This is a whole lot, and I can go down to everything, and then it goes more and more to us. It's a lot, man, and I got like so many of those. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring my man Joe in. G.I. Joe, what is up?
American Hero. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Before we get started, real quick, because I'm gonna forget. If you guys want to buy any switches, Eric has some for sale. PM him. I'm not gonna message what kind of switches they are. Also, one more thing from Eric that he wanted me to talk about. He had to do a switch mod chip installation for a customer. The chip got lost in transit from the customer. So he provided his own personal chip. So Eric Lehman is totally on the money and on the ball with everything. So give him a big shout out. And he's been fixing the 2-letter word switches. So we all know who that is. Jet plane.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, we know who that is. And apparently it hasn't stopped. Okay. Because
so if you guys need any switches, just PM Eric or check out the Facebook groups. Or if you can't get in touch with them, to PM me and I'll forward you to him. So
nice. Now, Joe, before we dive into all this, any news with Nintendo Switch. I seen an update pushed out. There was a repack put out there. Anything different that you notice? Anything anybody got to do, or is everything the same?
They changed some stability shit. That's basically it. I don't know exactly what they fixed. I didn't have time to read the change log, but the old Atmosphere version works with the newest firmware. I've tried this; it works. Eric has tried it; it works, and some other people I've been PMing back and forth has worked. One game's having a problem. That's TMNT. Turn off the Wi-Fi. Come on, people. That's it. Come on.
Oh gosh, yeah, and that game, by the way. Oh, thank you. I was, retros guys. We see that game like, oh yeah, you know how we get. So
and just go to Nick Mo SoFi Facebook page for the repacks. And if you're too lazy to find them or you can't find them, you can PM me and I'll forward you the information. There's one thing I wanted to bring up. If I was able to ask Gary or Max one question that had to deal with the hardware, SXOS ... support for Chinese cartridges. I need to know, what is this for? And I brought this up several times. My theory is they probably are coming out with some type of reader device where you can use like double SD cards, one in the Nintendo Switch game slot and one at the bottom to, expand your memory. That's the only thing I could think of was for this, because it just got blown over.
No, it's a gret question. One I could ask, and I'll come up with something for them like, hey, it's almost like when you're in court and it's a question that's, out of bounds there. Objection. Maybe I need to tell them objection or something. You know what I mean? If it's a question,
gavel, 5 gavel.
Yeah, just if the question's out of bounds for him, he can just put objection and I'll move right on to the next one. Okay. But I'm definitely, these questions are questions I am going to ask him. And he wanted me to ask. Another thing, Joe, that I want to say, he mentioned like a fund, right?
Oh yeah, I'm supporting him.
Okay, and I might speak with you on that, see how we'll go about that, because I do want to create a separate fund.
Definitely.
That we can do, and that's something I'll talk to you off, because it is something that he mentioned would help. What's crazy to me, and just tell you, is that you got one side where Max saying he's well taken care of, then you got the other side where Gary's like, look, I'm not gonna lie, $20 goes a long way for me.
Oh yeah, definitely it does.
You know what I mean? So no, I'm glad to say that. Now, with that out the way, Joe, you have also been one that's been there through the beginning, through all of this, and I finally am in touch with Gary Bowser. Joe, why do you think me? Where are all these journalists that go to school for years? Do you think this story is just not that important, or do you think that they, people dropped the ball or just didn't know the name, didn't care?
Here's the real reason behind it. Everybody hates Team Executor SXOS for charging for their CFW. That's what it comes down to. No one cares about him. I'm sure people are saying, oh, good, I'm glad he's in jail. Here's the deal, you ignorant pieces of shit. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be playing on the OLED, because that mod chip they designed. Doesn't matter if it's stolen code or not. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they stole the code. They stole the code. It's okay. They increased it. They made it better. Mod chips. If it wasn't for Team Execute, you wouldn't be playing your, wouldn't be having your OLEDs with your mod chips in them and doing all this fancy stuff. They put their foot in the door.
You said it. You said it best. Yeah. They put their foot in the door, man. I am one, like I showed many different, pieces around here that were Team Executor. I've been using them for a long time. So when I heard Team Executor and Nintendo Switch, I was on it. It didn't even matter. It was just like Team Executor proven throughout the years. When you dealt with Team Executor, you were going to get quality. That's what I've seen it as. Just quality. And it turned to this.
Yep. You know what the fucked up part about it is? Nintendo went after them. Sony could have went after them too, because, hey, they got Team Executor. Let's sue them now from, old projects. And same thing with Microsoft. They didn't care. Like, whatever. They knew about it. They're not stupid. Microsoft knew about it. Sony knew about it. How come they didn't try to dip their hand in the honey pot and like, oh, we get more money?
Right. No, we'll say it. So for Gary being injured, in jail, and he's going to be there till July of next year, do you think that his sentencing is too harsh? Do you think it's fair? Or do you think that, like Gary should not be facing any time. What he's doing is part of what, you know, goes on, and he was just a public face, and there should be other members taking his heat.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. They should just let him go and have the other members take the heat too. I mean, everyone's responsible, but for keeping someone in jail for not killing anybody or doing, you know, the R word or whatever, I don't want to say that word, you know, it doesn't matter who did anything. It's just like you're wasting people's tax dollars and you're wasting people's lives and money. You know, but here's the deal. Put them on house arrest for 3 years, you know, or give the person a choice. Hey, you can be in jail for 2 years or be in house arrest for 4 years. Give them the choice. It's fucked up. It really is, you know. I mean, yeah, you know, they're accusing him at doing all this other stuff with the hacking, all this other shit. That's what it is, though. You know, why won't, you know, I don't have no problem with Max or Gary, but why not go after Max too and the other team members, you know? But like you said, public face, you know.
No, I'm right with you on that. Let me ask you, Joe, do you think Max is blessing Gary with the commissary? Do you think Gary is in jail right now? If you had to sit back, do you think Gary is right now, you know, dropping gummy bears with one hand, you know, pretzels in the other? You know, he's got the Wired magazine as he's laying back with all this stuff. Do you think Gary's in there living the life and he's just finagling the world? Or do you think that he is actually not receiving much and he actually needs the assistance? And what Max is saying may not be true.
Well, you're talking to him one-on-one, so if he's not going to lie to you because he knows that you do the podcast and we all talk to each other, he needs help. There's nothing wrong with that. He needs help. You know, he's not, you know, it's not like in the mob movies where he has his own prison cell, own kitchen and workout area. It's not like that. That's just fake movie shit. But yeah, he needs help. That's why I was saying this a while ago before you even had the interview with him. Let's get a GoFundMe going or something where we contribute.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a big thing for Gary. One of the things he talked about is reading. Like, you know, you don't got much to do in there, you know, so reading. So what we'll do is we'll speak off of this. I'll give you a different list. I'll show you the different things he mentioned. We'll talk about it, and, you know, we'll figure out how you you know, how you're going to pay for things and the donation. So that part we'll figure out, but that's mainly it. Like, he's not even asking for much. So that's, for me, is what kind of stood
Well, but here's the deal. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Max is not giving him any donation money for a commissary and all that other stuff. Why the fuck wouldn't you give him any money? You know, you're living a life of luxury, you know? Seriously, fucking help out the guy. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, I don't want to point any fingers at anybody because I don't know and you don't know. Let's say Max isn't helping him out. Why the fuck not? You're rolling in fucking money. Send him a couple bucks. You know, you don't have to look over your shoulder. You're overseas. The United States sucks when it comes to this type of stuff. Overseas don't care. As long as you know, you pay off somebody, they look the other way.
Okay, I'm with you. And shout out my man Joshua Drake for the donation. Keeps the show going, sir. Thank you. Much appreciated, Joshua Drake. Yeah, he be coming through all the time, my dog Joshua Drake. So representing, man, I appreciate it. So,
yeah, I don't think Gary's lying to you because, you know, he knows he's not a stupid person by any means. He would say to himself, well, if I say that I'm lying, then, you know, it's going to go on the podcast and be, you know, cause problems between Max and Gary. So I think you're right. I think he does need help. Need help.
Gary mentioned that he has patents and licenses for legit products.
Say that one more time, you broke up.
For Gary, when Gary gets out, possibly getting back into the market legit?
That'd be awesome. Yeah. You know, you're good at what you do.
No, I agree. I said the same thing. I don't think, you know, and I let him know that. I told him, I said, hey, I think that's beautiful. You know, you come out, if you got legit license, you know, retro gaming and retro computers, those things are in right now. You know, it's a perfect time for him to jump out there and go ahead and do that. So, Joe, last thing I want to ask. Gary mentioned a lot about the pain of his leg, so much so to the point that he thinks he needs surgery. Do you think that Gary could be a victim in jail? You know, one man, one leg, easy to steal from, something like that. He's in a better pod now.
Yeah.
Do you see that being an issue? I mean, no medical treatment, you know, and I'm not going to say no. Let's say allegedly, okay, no medical treatment. and your wheelchair's outside your room. You got to walk out there or crawl over there, or cane or whatever. But now you're out there, someone walks into your pod and steals something, and now your stuff's gone. Do you think Gary has been suffering terribly, or do you think that since he's older guy, it's kind of been laid back and maybe they've been, a little lenient to Gary and he should be able to get through this fight?
No, I think taking advantage of him. Like, I mean, if he does have a handicap in there, there are some people that are crazy. There are some people that are normal. You just don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And if that's the case where he needs medical attention and you're in a secure facility to help out people and you're not helping out somebody, you're pieces of shit. Seriously. I mean, this is fucking horrible. They're treating him like, a killer that killed a whole bunch of people. No, he didn't. And other people that got charged with this, they didn't do this too. Look at the PS3 back in the day. Let's roll back the time machine with forget GeoHot. He released the shit for free. He didn't charge anybody, and the FBI and everybody else went after him. He didn't make any money from this, and they treated him pretty much the same. And now he's doing Tesla shit or some crap. I don't know, fucking cars or whatever. That's not the point though. But it's a criminal, but it's a different kind of criminal. It's not like, he's doing all this bad stuff. Nintendo got butthurt, and what's going to happen is when they come out the new Nintendo products, to go after them even harder. There's people in the TX scene that we don't even know of that are going to be spiteful with Nintendo. Let's get their product hacked. That's what's going to come down to, And if a TX2 comes out, yeah, I'm going to support them because you know what? You own the device. You can do what you want to do. That's what it comes down to.
Oh.
And also another thing, don't do the interview unless he's out of prison because they might be trying to grab other people. Nintendo's like, here's $100,000. Bring some more people in.
Like, you know what? Thank you for that, Joe. And that's one that I've been thinking about. I said, you know what? Would I go? Should I do it? But I said, if he does get out, there's a couple things. Now it's 3 years. It's going to be on supervised release. So I could still have him come. I could travel somewhere. I could get the interview. And then at that point, we can talk about the case. It's completely over. I can dig deep. I can get the good questions in. Or I can do the interview now where a lot of people are, a lot of the gaming publications, very familiar. I got a couple writer friends at a couple of these. I could get some things and send to them. Do you think that's possible? Do you think it's possible to make a spicy interview right now without putting anyone in jeopardy? Let me ask you.
Yes, you can do that, but you have to always remember, it's just a YouTube channel. YouTube channels come and go. Nothing against your channel or anything, but you got to worry about you and your family. If there's a way to do this virtually, like how we do the restreams and shit like that, that'd be your best bet to do because you're not in there. You don't know what could happen. Maybe they want to try to say, go after Nick Moses 05 and all the other crazy people that go in the live chat. I'm sure the feds watch this channel. They got it. Nintendo. If Nintendo's going, there's Nick Moses 05 and the guy missing the tooth.
Yeah. We got him.
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's fucked up. I would say definitely do that. If you want to do a live interview, do it after his sentence, because you don't know. Maybe they figure, this guy has information, or in case Gary's not the right kind of guy that we think are trying to catfish you, like you were saying, you don't know. You're trying to get, a lighter. You just have to play this shit safely. And doing this virtually is your best way to do it.
Nice. Joe, my man, any last words you got to say before you're out?
Like and subscribe, Nick Moses 05. And if you want to buy any switches, contact Eric. PM him. If you don't know who Eric is, you can PM me. Or if you don't know me, you can PM Nick. And if you don't know Nick, I don't know why the fuck you're on here.
I like that one.
Oh, by the way, happy Father's Day.
Oh, man, appreciate it, man. Living the life, man. And as always, Dante's Italian Bistro, man. I shout it out. Go and check it out, man. Phoenixville. Google it. Look at the pictures. Okay, that's what you need to do. Google it, look at the pictures. You'll be there in no time. As always, I'm going to holler at you later. We're going to talk about the donation thing.
All right, we'll do. See you.
All right, cool. So now last person I'm bringing on. Okay. This person I'm bringing on is the same person last time that predicted everything. Okay. This guy predicted from the beginning. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this guy in. He's a conspiracy theorist king of the channel. The king. No one has ever had a conspiracy and predicted like Nostradamus, except this gentleman here, Dead Specimen.
Calling in from Florida. How's it going, man?
Oh, man, Florida. Enjoy yourself. Beautiful, beautiful Florida. Was there, earlier in the year. I hope you're going to Disney World or something like that. Okay?
Nah, I'm not doing that. Just enjoying the beaches.
It's a lot of beaches. You're right. There's a lot of other places. You're not missing anything. So, Dead, you are one that I've also, as you posted in the chat, image, shared a lot of this with. So, there's so much to unpack here. But one thing is, I want to see, how would you think, if I asked you, would moving forward, doing an interview, do you think doing an interview, I have more parties in? Would it be just me, myself? Would it be a restream? Would I be presenting questions? Should I write it? Should I send it? What would you think, in a young mind, that would be the best way to get the greatest questions, but we want to make sure to keep Gary or Max safe?
So if it were me doing it, I would, because I know we were talking about this earlier, get in some of the big guys. Get in Mr. Mario. Get in, God forbid, MVG. Get in some people who really know, and Joshua's in here being a troll, like usual. But really, thanks for the tip. Really get in.
Now we
people
just Joshua Drake. Appreciate the donation. He got it in perfect timing too. It was like right as soon as you were talking, it just came in. The leader, that guy. That's why he predicted it. He ratted everyone out. He was there testifying in there.
But we need to get the people in who really kind of know what about the scene, and people who have reported on this stuff for the longest time. And then I think in the perfect world, you and all of them sort of talk together and come up with some stuff. And I think if we're trying to sort of make this more of a true interview, like less of an interrogation, have it just be from you, but take questions from multiple people. Obviously getting the big guys in, they have been here for a long time, especially like, the likes of Mr. Mario. Been here for a very, very long time, knows the ins and out very well, probably knows some people. So he'd have some great questions. You were very well versed in Team Executor specifically, including, old Team Executor and new Team Executor, if you want to use that. You'd have some great questions. Yeah, I just think it'd be good to have it all channeled from you, but, on the back end, get questions from everybody. Everyone has questions, and I think community participation on the questions would definitely be good. I just don't know how a restream would play out, especially because Max is living a very busy life, and I don't know how he'd feel about having 12 people asking him stuff.
I don't know either, and that's what I'm curious. Now, part of me says Max is like, he would be down because floss, man. I'm flossy. I like to show myself off. Ha ha ha! Look at me. I'm over here. But there's another part of me that says he really does not have to entertain any of it. Can literally just shut it off. It all goes away from somewhere else. So,
if any of y'all have seen Max Louarn's Instagram, he's just out fucking partying. He's just out fucking luxury vacations up the ass. Like, yeah, I'm chilling in Florida right now, but I'm just in an Airbnb. It's nothing too crazy. This dude's up in luxury hotels with fucking gardens out in the front. Fucking skiing. He goes from one day skiing to fucking, his hot Russian model girlfriend out on the fucking poolside at his luxury villa. Like, this dude don't even give a fuck about anything.
Yo, you're right, man. This dude Instagram is literally, it should be called the Flosstagram. You know what I mean? Because he is just flossing through the entire thing. Everything he posts is good. And that's why I always say, I'm one that I've never been a hater. So I'm like, you know what, Max, live your life, man. Do it up. And then, I speak with Gary. And then I'm kind of like, oh man,
Really?
Gary's over here in a cell. And then at the same time, you got him over here following it up. So I agree. I would like to probably get some questions, get other people in. I would set up a time with them, maybe a time for him to call, and then he would call. Maybe you could have everybody in. You're right. Get together, come up with some questions or some things that we could ask, and hopefully that would be, the best way to go about it. I do have people in gaming publications that, it's a lot of information. You're talking about Gary. What better information is to get than Gary's own actual words from him over the phone?
Well, and part of me wonders if, like, because kind of like what you said about how, or what, oh my God, I'm doing you. So, what Joe said about safety, and I'm almost wondering if we can get in contact with some higher profile people, maybe ask some of your friends in the media, like, hey, is there a way we should do this that, number one, does not put like you or me, let's say, in legal trouble, but also that protects Max? Because I probably could turn my VPN on and be able to do this restream just fine, but is that enough, right? Like, what would Max need to call in from a burner phone? Would that be the only safe way you could do it? Or would a VPN in his laptop work? Can you not even trust his laptop? So if he were smart, his most recent picture of the villa he's in is actually a villa he was in 2 weeks ago, and he's in a completely different location. We're trying to, jokes aside, we're not trying to get anyone in trouble. We're just trying to learn info, and we don't want our little, interview and then all of a sudden, no, Max is arrested now.
Exactly. No, that's well said. That's not my intention. And I agree. I thought the same thing. It was like, hey, Max can be a VPN. Then you're right with pictures you post. Hopefully you post a picture later. You know what I mean? You don't post it the same day you're there. Could be, you're right. Could be 2 weeks later. He posts a picture. Hey, I'm in, my hometown, and now he's somewhere else. So no, he could totally be doing that. And I agree. I think that's the route I'm gonna go. So then let me ask you, as far as questions, do you think that I could get spicy questions without mentioning the case? Is that possible?
So I was talking with Kyle about this the other day, and what we were sort of wondering was, obviously Max doesn't give a fuck about anything. So the question is, could we just straight up ask him, like, I don't know, hey, question, was the SXOS actually originally made for piracy? I wouldn't, it's low but never zero that he would answer that truthfully. Yeah. And given his sort of lifestyle and how much he doesn't give a fuck on his Instagram, which, look, let's be real here, any cop could follow that. I don't know if my name being on my Instagram helped him trust my follow, or if he just lets anyone in, but he doesn't want like the general public seeing. Like, I don't know exactly what I don't know what his sort of criteria is for accepting follows to his Instagram, but anyone could look at there and know everything going on there. So if he's so comfortable with people just knowing where he is whenever, then is he at the point now where it's like, France isn't going to let me get extradited no matter what, and I can say whatever I want, they can't prove it, and so maybe he'll just be straight up. And micro gaming repairs, yeah, you're correct on that. He probably will end up saying illegal backups and homebrew. Or maybe he doesn't. He ran Paradox. I wouldn't put him past him to whether he says it or not, that there was piracy as an actual forefront of the software. I I don't think he'd answer it truthfully. And do we really gain anything if he were to should have say yes? Not really. At least we could say, okay, well, those who are saying that SX is just a piracy tool weren't wrong. And we could say, okay, now the ethics of if you bought an SX device are a little more muddied if you purchased it really trying to believe that it wasn't a piracy device. But in the real world, they don't gain much from that. So the spicier questions like that are just sort of dubious if it matters. What I really want to know, and what I think most people want to know, is do you plan on continuing? Was it worth it? Who else might be getting in trouble? Are you protecting the people in the back end? Because, as far as we know, Max was the brains, Gary was the front man, Wanting was the distribution, Chen in China was the distribution. And those are the people that needed to put themselves out there. Gary, his whole existence was putting himself out there. Max as the brains, everything was built around him. He, probably designed all the shit, so that was built around him. And anyone who bought an SX Pro, the only reason you were holding it was because of Chen. Everyone else, the developers were just doing what they were told. The designers were just doing what they were told. And so they don't need to be out there. Are they being protected? Were they put in some sort of witness protection by Max? And I also am like micro gaming repairs. I'm with you on this. Mainly what I want to know is, this is I think the biggest sort of not really useful to know, but interesting would be when it comes to Gary, they're saying, oh, he wasn't a part of TX and he was, added on later. Well, how come the first way everyone knew that TX was coming to the Switch was from a video by Gary? He got whatever they had early. Why him? What did he do something in particular? And why are there, mods like I think Blakey was from the Xbox days, before the Team Executor purchase. Why wasn't it him? Why was Gary chosen for that? If he's not a part of Team Executor, then why was that decision made? Who reached out to him? That kind of stuff. Also, one other thing is, and this is something that I really do not think will get answered. Truthfully, and something that I've been still, I haven't had this answered because the U.S. government clearly didn't see anything, is what the fuck was up with Stargate NX? Who was involved with that? Gary knows something. He knows. He knew the translator for the Stargate NX manual. If he knew that, then what else did he know? And what else did Max know? Or perhaps it wasn't about them knowing, it was them doing, and they actually had taken part in creating that. That was never answered in the indictment, and no one has talked about that damn thing since, except for me, because I think they'll be the only one that's fucking loony enough to give a shit. But it's like, it was literally a fucking pay-for piracy service. Everyone's bitching about, oh, stolen code, oh, stolen keys. That's nothing compared to just a straight up, give us $25 a month and we'll give you a server access of every Switch game. And no one seems to care about that at all. No one cares. And it boggles my mind, and we got no answers on that. So I just don't know what, that's my biggest question, is what's up with that? Was it a close partner? Was it just some random dude that was like, I want to do this?
Great question, man. And I mean, you tackled a lot, especially, he did say 3 years supervised release, so you're right. Is it possible you wouldn't? Because what I find weird is Max literally, you've seen the message. Okay, Max literally said he testified against, and we all know when you testify against someone, it's never a good thing. It technically, in that world, it means you snitched on me. Okay, you ratted me out. You just gave it all. Yeah. So now let me see. Hold on. I think my headphones went off. Let me get it. Let me get my home because I didn't hear you. Is that me? Can you hear me now? Is that good? All right, Dad. Let me see. Let me see if that's you. I see my little sound thing moving. Okay, seems like people can hear. All right, so Dead, everybody can hear me okay? Am I good? Sounds good, my man. Thank you, Brian. So Dead, can you hear me okay? He's like, this damn laptop. Hey, you good? All right, okay, you good, Dad. Hey, we'll do the deuces to each other like this. You know what I mean? Then I can bring you back on. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I see the fan spinning. All right, you good, Dad? Peace out. My man, Dead Specimen, the young OG, the conspiracy theorist king himself. Drop a bomb for you. I got you out the right way. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring on this next person. Okay, this next person, my man, I refer to him as Beat Out. So I was saying, Beat Out all the time. My man has been through it. I've been speaking with him for a while. Just kind of touching base, like, yo, what's going on? You know what I mean? As I go through this whole saga with one gentleman. So I am going to bring him on, and I want to hear it. I want to hear just the story. And I haven't heard it from someone who actually experienced it. So it would be nice to hear the story. So I will bring this gentleman on now. My man, Bayou. My man. Ryan, what's up, man?
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Man, good to finally see you, man. I'm going to drop a bomb for you. It's a big deal to get you on here. So I'm glad. I know you were here before, but I was kind of busy rambling on. But how you doing today?
Oh, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, just got back from Nebraska. I was out in 100-degree heat doing work, so it's nice to be back home.
So, a lot of people don't know, but there was this whole just fiasco. I think that's the best word. We're not even going to say problem. A fiasco. That
shit show.
Yeah, there you go. It was just a shit. Let's be honest, okay? That you went through with a Nintendo Switch. Now, let me ask, because I want to know, Brian, how long has the entire process taken? And not when we got, I think Eric came along and kind of saved that, but before Eric, how long was it before Eric got involved that you were sitting back saying, I'm wondering when the box is going to come with my console?
Oh, I mean, I started the process as trying to get an OLED modded in January, and I paid for it then. And I made a big mistake, and I just agreed to pay cash up front when I was told that's the way to do it. And I got immediate text, okay, here's the chip I ordered you. Then a week later, the story started changing about the chip. And then 2 weeks later, it was a different story about the chip. And he would say, send an update. And I would just say, okay, sounds good. And I would get a response like, you got to just be patient. I'm $3,000 deep in chip orders. I'm like, I don't care. I just want my OLED modded. I don't care. And it kept, escalating. Like it would just be, new stuff. And then I got sent a DHL tracking number for my chip, and the tracking showed it arrived. And so I sent him my OLED, and then got a whole nother string of stories about chip delays, and it seemed like it was a new story every week, and that there were bad batches of chips, there were shutdowns in China. It just kept kind of changing what the story was, and right after I had sent my OLED was when Eric first posted about the issues that he had encountered. And he was the first person, I think, to speak up, even though other people had been affected. So I think that was good. That was the beginning of getting to a solution for all of these problems that people may or may not have known about, but it sounds like they'd been going on. It's pretty well documented at this point.
Now,
Yeah. So
I wanted to, because right there is perfect, right? We had like Eric puts up a post, right? So Eric puts up this post, and this post is explaining, I believe, and I'm trying to recall, but I believe the post was explaining, hey, watch out. Okay, you may be using certain installers or watch, just kind of like a warning email, and it shows some images of some bad work. Okay. And I'm not sure, because if I recall, I want to say, I don't know if he was called out on that one, but there was one he was called out specifically on in a group. And then next thing you know, you're right. It all started coming out. So when Eric puts the post up and you read it, what do you think at this point, knowing that he has your console?
Oh shit, I shouldn't have sent it to him. Like, it's one thing to be out the money, but it's another thing to be out the money and a switch. So anyway, just kept trying to remain composed and messaging with someone who does not communicate well. And it's one of those things where it's like walking on eggshells. Because I know that if I say the wrong thing, it's going to make the situation worse. And I kind of did that dance for a while. And then, it got to the point where we were talking about him a lot on this podcast, and I was chiming in on the chat about what was going on with me, which he was reading while that was happening. And so then he got, he got triggered by that. And I started getting a lot of messages, some that would be unsent after they were sent.
Been there.
And I would get voice recordings also from him that were pretty spun out, talking a million miles an hour, explaining exactly what happened and how it was not his fault. And anyway, it got to the point where I finally sent him a nastygram, and I said, hey, send me my switch. Because he'd gone through all these poor me things. I had said in the chat in that one podcast, I'm willing to give him a chance.
Yeah, I remember
that maybe this will be the one where he can
get it right.
We can use this to show that it's right. But in response to that, he sent me a bunch of pictures of him sick, like selfies of him being sick. And I'm like, I don't want to see your fucking face. Like, what the hell? What planet are you on? I'm giving you a chance here. And I told him exactly what I needed to hear. I needed to hear that he was going to, clean up the thermal paste. I needed to hear that he was going to take his time, do things with a steady hand. I told him, I spoon fed him. Here's what I need to hear.
That's true. That's true.
And he wouldn't tell me those things. Oh, and I needed to hear that you have a chip ordered for me. That's the other thing. Did your dude on WhatsApp get a chip for me? I just don't know what the status is. So then he sent a video of a malfunction he was having, and he was blaming it on a bad batch of chips. And I just sent that video to Eric, and Eric took a look at the video, and he right away said that's bullshit. That it was a installer error that was causing that, and he zoomed in and spotted what the error is. I don't know if Eric, if you're on, you can chime up with the technical details on that.
Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead. I think Eric is there. Eric, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh yeah. So we were right at the part where there was an image that was sent to Brian, and that image that was sent to Brian was saying, hey, malfunction, man, chips down, I'm sorry, and he sends it, and then Brian sends you the video, and you immediately notice. What was it that you noticed, and how easy was it for you to notice?
Just the sequence of the lights blinking. It tells you what's going on, and it was it could have been the one that it was showing. It could have either been his 3.3 volt was bad, or it could have been he wasn't getting the proper readings from the DAT0 adapter. So it's as simple as go back, clean those 2 points up, test it with a multimeter, which I'm not even sure if he has one, and go from there.
Oh man, I'm loving it. Now, Brian, at this point, right? You send the video to Eric, and Eric says, "Hey, that's bullshit." Okay.
Well, that was actually just today that I sent that video to him. At this point, I'm done with the guy, and I had sent this nasty gram, and I put some kind of legalish speak in it, and I just said, send me my OLED now. And before that, I'd actually proposed a really generous payment plan for him to pay me back the money I'd sent him for the chip and the install, where he could send me like I forget what it was, like $20 or $30 every 2 weeks or something, because he said he was getting a new job. And I'm like, well, per paycheck, send me this just to pay it off over time. And I got a scathing response back from him, like, I can't do that, blah blah blah. And anyway, so then I kind of escalated and said, well, give me my Switch. So he said he was sending the Switch. So that's when I contacted Eric and said, hey, can you do the install for me? So I asked if the other installer would send it directly to Eric, and he said, F off, no.
I didn't think you would do that.
Hard no. So he sent it to me, and he's like, so I'm going to send you your OLED. And he sent me like a little bit of money to cover what I was going to pay for for his labor. And then he said, oh, and I have a chip, so I'm going to send you the chip. Okay, so I get in the mail, and there's a chip and an OLED. I looked at the serial number, not the serial number of my OLED. I fire it up. I had, when I got the OLED, I bought a cartridge game, and I put about 30 hours in that game. And I figured that it would go from the SysNAND to the EmuNAND when it was done. Well, anyway, it's not my Switch. It even had the same screen protector on it. Everything looked exactly the same, but it was not mine. And my game save is gone. So whatever, he gave me, he obviously fried my Switch, but he replaced it with another one. So I got the tablet back, and I sent that and the chip he sent to Eric. And immediately I noticed, like, I'd seen enough of these pictures in our group about what the ribbons and stuff looked like for the chip, that the kind of U-shaped one, the DAT adapter, whatever it is, I noticed that wasn't in there. So I asked Eric about it, and Eric's like, yeah, I think this will work. He's like, there's something else missing. And then he's like, oh no, that's totally missing. So right away we were short some of the components. Then Eric fired up the chip to flash it with the firmware, and it heated up like so hot it would burn you, and started.
I think I commented this one on the show one time.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
that was so funny. Oh gosh, man. So he sent a bad chip.
Oh yeah, and I mean it was one of those things where I'm pretty sure he knew the chip was not good. He just wanted to get me off his back, and it worked. He got me off his back because I hit JJ fatigue. I got my tablet back, and I don't want to see one more message from this guy. I just want to be done. I mean, Eric's, he's a professional guy. He was not my knight in shining armor. Let's get that straight. He did the job he signed up for. He did help out. He had some empathy. He did help out with using a chip he had on hand, since the one that I sent didn't work. And he did a good job of rolling with some punches, but it ended up being, I think, a straightforward install. The Switch ended up being a brand new tablet, so he didn't have to fix anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got lucky. We got lucky on that sense.
Yeah, I will agree. You definitely.
So how's the Switch now, Brian?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I purely use it for streaming to my PS5. That is the only thing I use it for.
Nice. It's just beautiful. Yeah, it's just working out. Gosh, that is just
no other features in it.
Oh, I apologize, man. You know what? I apologize. I'm kind of glad that I brought it up, because when this came about, I was not even sure of talking about. I was like, that might be little messy. You know, I don't want to go. But the man himself asked me to bring it up. It was like, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna. He's like, can you bring it up and can you speak up on it? And I did, and here comes the shitstorm. It's like, oh my God, everybody has issues, JJ. Why the hell would you tell me to bring it up, knowing you have hundreds of people out there probably going to be pissed when I do? So I never understood that. But again, I'm blocked now, and I'm sure many of us are blocked.
Well, I mean, people don't like to be lied to. It's as simple as that. And we all figured out we were getting lied to at one time or another. And that just, it hurts trust, you know. And once you lose trust, yeah.
I mean, everybody, me, myself, MGR, everybody said nobody's perfect. We all fuck up. We all make mistakes. But then you have to own up to it and make it right. And that's kind of what Joe was hinting on earlier today, where, like I said, for whatever reason, this guy that I was supposed to do his console, his chip never did show up. It still hasn't came. I'm still waiting for it. So, but I have a 99% sure that it's going to show up and it's going to be made right. So I gave him not my personal chip. I gave him my personal console that I had an extra one sitting here and sent it to him to let him have that. Because I don't like people sitting around forever. There's no reason that you should have somebody's console and they shouldn't have it back in their hands within a week. There's no reason for it.
Yeah. And I think you've proven that. You've done well. Any last words from any of you? Because this story was too good.
Well, there's a JJ in the private chat wanting to get
You know
in,
what?
I don't know if it's JJ or not.
Now, I figured this is not going to be JJ, guys. As always, JJ never put his government name in there. But let's humor ourselves since we're here now. Let's bring in JJ. No, there he goes. He disappears. There he goes. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. Okay, I was going to bring in JJ. I was going to let him speak, but maybe JJ doesn't want to talk with us. I would have loved that too. It would have been great. So, either one of you, any last words?
I'm glad your Switch is working good, Brian. I mean, Nick was just asking me about it tonight, and I really didn't have an answer because I haven't spoke to you.
I just did a lot of traveling and got a lot of use while traveling. So
good.
Yeah. And I think the best thing coming out of all this is the trusted installer list. Now that is going to help a lot of people, because someone like me, I didn't know where to start. And at the time, that seemed like the best option for me back in January. And I think my lesson learned when new things come out, to be patient and wait until people get some experience with them. I jumped in a little too soon. If I'd waited a month or so, I would have known a lot more about it, and I would have known a lot more of the players involved.
Nice. Now, I thank you both for coming in, telling the story. And Brian, man, I'm so glad that you got your Switch back. And you know, we've all been through it. I think I've sent an Xbox 360 to somewhere in Jamaica. You know, it's good. PayPal was $500, and I'm like, hey, this is $300. I'm giving it to this guy, and you know, $500 later, after they deduct it back, realize it might not have been the smartest decision. So we've all been there. Your story is just another on top of this. So glad everything worked out, man.
Me too, and happy Father's Day to both of you.
Yes, happy Father's Day to you, sir. Okay.
Thank you. There you go. Look at that.
Right.
Can you wave?
Oh,
Can you say
hi? I love it. Yes, that's the same thing I'm gonna do when I wind up getting off. The family's there. We might go out to eat or something, you know, do something crazy, you know, little something, not crazy. So I appreciate both of you. Other than that, man, you both have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, man. Anytime, dude.
Take care.
You too. Oh, man. Great people. And Joe, I just seen you said to get you on. My fault. You know, I was towards the end of the whole thing. And, you know, I said it was supposed to be a short show. Okay. It was supposed to be a short show. And I went over the time limit. I'm sure the kids are back there like, Dad, what the hell? You were going to talk about Gary, and you were supposed to come out here, and your ass is all over the place, Dad. What the hell? Okay. So I'm going to say this. With Gary Bowser and Max, I have a possible interview with both. They both seem 100% down. I want questions. So I'm going to put up a post and I will ask for questions to specifically ask Gary. Now, the way I feel is Gary is wanting something in return. I put some money on his commissary, but I ain't about to just be paying all Gary's bills, but I can help him out for a little bit. So we'll come up with some fund or something. And he doesn't need much. I mean, what? Some magazines or, something simple. It's not like anything he mentioned in any one of these, which I will put up the receipts for that. So it's not just me saying what he needs. You can actually see for yourself what he needs. I'll make sure to put that up. So no, other than that, guys, and JJ, I wish I could show this, man. And also I received something on Facebook, by the way, from someone else who said, I just got a Switch modded by JJ and it was an OLED. And guess what? Don't work. So, just watch out. If you hear anybody, that sounds like them, you need to make sure, get them verifications first. Hey, man, make sure we do this through PayPal. Oh, I closed my PayPal. Well, you're screwed. Hey, next installer. You know what I mean? It's how it got to be sometimes. Not the Cash App. Hey, send me $500 in my Cash App. And also the chip. We heard about the chip. Hey, the chip's going to be $570. Oh, cool. Let me get $570. Okay, let me do that. 8 off it. Yo, that's my time, man. I see. Nick Moses 05, Gaming Podcast. Love y'all. We are